Okay, welcome everybody. So today I wanted to come on here, and I'm actually coming on here on two of my YouTube channels. So if you're on here from my homesteading channel, this is relevant, and I've never talked about it on this channel, but I'm kind of coming here from everywhere because I want to talk to you about what I did myself to be able to buy my own house, which has property. It has a homestead. And I did this as essentially a single mom. I'm just going to go really quick. And I think I'm going to share. I didn't share this in the group here, but I'm going to share this in the group here. Just going to wait until somebody comes on because we are very empty today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jillian, and you can let me know. I'm about to share this in the Facebook group. Let me know who's here because I can see people are tuning in, and I wanted to come on here and answer all the questions live because it's so much easier than trying to just answer them one by one. But what I want to talk about. Hi, Lori. I know Lori. Hi, Lori. Lori's all about this. So those of you who are watching this, Lori that's commenting is also does the same thing that I do, which is an online teacher. And I feel that this could be really helpful to a lot of people, but they don't know about it. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just sharing this in my Facebook group really quick. I feel like this could be really, really helpful to a lot of people, but they don't know that this is something that exists. And when I found out about it, I didn't know that it was something that existed either. So let me know in the comments here, who's here, if I could see that if you are already an online teacher, or if you're one of my friends or one of my subscribers on YouTube or on Facebook. So really quick, I'm going to tell my story, and I do have classes after this, so I can't stay here super, super long. But really quick, my story here, I started teaching online after I had my third daughter. And when I had my third daughter, I was in a not so great relationship where I was pretty much I had to be in charge of everything. I was in charge of the childcare and the finances and taking care of the household. I just had my third daughter, and I was working at the post office when I was pregnant. Post office is a really, really bad place to work for anyone that's not familiar with the United States Post Office. It's really, really long hours. I didn't even go for my blood sugar test because they wouldn't let me go. It was well, you just can't go and you have to file a grievance. So after I had her, I realized there is no way for me to be working 12, 14-hour days and be a pretty much single mom, and I had to figure something else out. I was trying to figure out different things that I could do with my life. Everybody seemed to be in the educational system, so I decided that I was going to go to school and get my elementary education degree and be a teacher so I could be in the school system with my kids. So after this happened, somebody came to me and they told me about online teaching, which I honestly, you hear about online jobs, and they're either MLM, or they are transcribing things and they pay pennies to the dollar, right? Or they're just not legitimate. There are a lot of scams out there, and there's a lot of things that you can't really trust. So I didn't really expect anything to come from it, but I went ahead and I did it anyways. And I started teaching, and I realized that I could make a lot of money. And it's not like when you're working for these companies that I'm going to tell you about, it's not like you're working for these companies and you're making $100 an hour when you're working for a company. You can grow into that when you have your own independent business. But when you work for a company, you do get paid less per hour. And I'll show you some of these in the companies that I'm going to talk about. But yeah, you have to do your research. There's so much bad stuff out there. Yeah. It's not like you're going to get into this and start making buku bucks. But for someone who was in the position that I was in, it meant that I could work hours that my kids were sleeping. It meant that I could work hours that my kids were in school. It meant that I didn't have to worry about tomorrow's probably going to be a snow day, right? So if I was working for the post office, I would have to find emergency childcare for my kids because the mail doesn't stop, right? It meant that I didn't have to worry about like if my kids had doctor's appointments or, I mean, like, let me know, show of hands, however you're going to raise your hands in the comments here if you are a parent. But I feel like all of your PTO time when you're a parent is taken for your kids. There's actually no vacation time because it's all taken for like doctor's appointments for your kids. And then for some reason, maybe it's just me, but then like you never get your doctor's appointments because it's all about your kids, right? Like when you're a parent, you tend to, maybe this isn't the right thing, but that's how it worked for me. But like I didn't have to worry about all of that. And then the biggest thing that I didn't have to worry about, even though it's not like you're not making like $60 an hour, you're not making a 6-figure income working for a company. Okay, I want to make this really clear. This is starting out. This is for people that are starting out. You're just getting started and you're working for a company. You're not going to make like a 6-figure income working for a company, most likely. But you're also not going to have to pay for daycare, and you're not going to have to pay for a lot of these other expenses that take away from your life. So I started doing this because I was able to eliminate daycare and I could work the hours that I wanted to, and I was making decent money. I was able to, within a year. So within a year of starting, I was able to put in a bid for a house. And this is how I bought the property that I'm at right now, where I have my own goats, and I love my goats. Like, if you guys know anything about me, I have a second business now where I do like baby goat yoga and baby goat parties, and I'm like have goat milk soaps and lotions, and I just absolutely adore my goats. I never thought that was going to be in my future. And then I have like my ducks and my chickens and my pigs and all those animals, all those little critters. They're so cute. I love them. I cannot even like tell you how much, like, they bring me so much joy. But I, of course, you have your not so great days too with that, but 99.999% of the time it's a joyful time. So within a year of teaching online, I was able to go and buy my own house. And then from there, it had a barn and stuff on it. My daughter was like, Mom, I want like sheep or goats. And I was like, no, absolutely not. And now I have an actual registered business where I have goats. um so what I want to talk about, and I want you guys to ask any questions if you're watching the replay of this and you want to know more, like, you can ask the questions in the replay and I have no problem answering them. So basically what I do is I teach English as a second language to children. When I started doing it, I started by teaching English as a second language to children, primarily in China. A lot of things happened and the industry changed a couple of years ago, but the industry is still out there and it's still really big. And companies come and go. So you can never like count on a company being a retirement plan for you. But the education system itself, the online education system, is never going to go. So once you get into it, you can be in it. I've been doing this since 2018. I've been doing this since November, end of November, beginning of December of 2018. And it's been amazing. So when you go on there, I didn't plan anything for this, so like feel free to ask questions, but you get into a company and most of the companies will have the slides and the curriculum prepared for you. So it's really easy, especially if you're brand new. You're going to go in there, you're going to log onto your computer, and it's going to tell you exactly what you have to teach. So it might be, you might have a class where you're talking about like articles of clothing, and it will tell you exactly what to do. There'll be like some games and stuff that you can play, some songs to play with the kids. Most companies, each class is 25 minutes long. You go in there, you say hi, you get better as you do it, right? Like with everything, you'll get better as you do it. But it's like a really simple thing. The company that I'm going to talk about today, they are actively hiring. They are actively hiring. They have over 5,000 teachers. I don't know how old that is. They have over 5,000 teachers and a ton. Like, I'm on Chinese social media and they're always going live. I actually got into their sales system to potentially put my daughter into Chinese lessons. I'm learning Chinese, by the way. For anyone that didn't know, I've been learning Chinese for 30 days, and I think I've been doing pretty good here. But I put my daughter into their program, into their sales funnel, basically, to take a trial lesson for Chinese lessons. They have a really aggressive sales team. And they are like really, really good at what they do. So they're bringing on a ton of students. Every single person that I have referred to this company has gotten booked very, very quickly. They have gotten students. So basically, if you're not coming to this as an online teacher and you don't know what I'm talking about, they have started making money right off the bat, pretty much. And I can show you here what their pay scale looks like. So this company pays once a month right to your bank account. And their pay is per 25-minute classes, and it depends on what you depends on how many classes you teach. Actually, so the company is called Lingo Ace. I'm going to go ahead. The link to apply is actually in the description box of this video, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in for anybody that's watching this live. So you do have to have a bachelor's degree, and you do have to have a TESOL certification. And this is, if you don't have a TESOL certification, this is the exact certification that I have, and I have been using it since 2019. Was it 2019, 2020 when they started? No, so I started teaching in 2018. They started requiring these certifications at the end of 2019. So this is the same TESOL certification that I have been using since I started. This link will get it to for like $30. There are other ones out there. So like if you want to use a different one, that's fine. But for this, you do have to have the TESOL. It's $30 and you'll have that like within, your first day of teaching, it'll be paid off. And everything from there is, so you have to have an internet connection, a computer. You have to have someplace to teach, a bachelor's degree, and your TESOL certification. Your bachelor's degree can be in anything. So if you have a bachelor's degree in agriculture, you're good. If you have a bachelor's degree in, I don't know, foot massage, is that a thing? You're good. Your bachelor's degree can be in anything, but you have to have a 4-year bachelor's degree. And then I'm going to show you, I pulled up my email here. I'm going to go ahead and show you what exactly the pay rate looks for this company. And then there's another company I can show you after this too. So let me go into my Chrome tabs here. Okay. So the way that it works here, let me actually pull this up. Where do I want to be? I'll be right there. Okay. So the way that it works is it goes on tiers. So your very first, like if you teach between 1 and 30 classes, if you teach between 1 and 30 classes a month, so that would be like one class a day, then you will be making $14 an hour, because you're on tier 0. If you teach between 31 and 60 classes a month, so say like more than one class a day, you'll be making $14.40 an hour. But then it goes up to level 7, tier 7, where you can be making up to $20 an hour. Again, I did tell you this is not like record breaking, groundbreaking, you're going to be a millionaire off of this. You can move up into like better paying companies, or even better, you can start, if it's something that you like to do, you can start to bring in your own students and start to run your own business, which is what I do. But this is a company that is really easy to get into, and they have students. So that's that. They have for there are other companies too. There's another one called Cambly, and I'll pop it in here for you. I think I've got it in here. There's another company called Cambly, and they're a little bit harder to get into, but it doesn't hurt to apply to them. And for this company, you can work with adult students or children. The adult students is what they call free talk. And when you do if you go in with them, basically you will just go in there, click that you're ready, and wait for a phone call, and you'll talk to them. And it's just people that want to practice their spoken English. So for these, you do have to be fluent in English in order to do it. The students are from different countries for that one. They're not usually Chinese students. They're usually like Arabic students, a lot of like South America, a lot of Portuguese speakers. So going through like the questions that I get asked a lot, one of the questions I get asked a lot is like, I can't do this. Like, how do you do this if you don't speak Chinese? So I am just now learning Chinese, I guess kind of for fun, but I have been teaching Chinese students for the past, what is it, like 5 years, and haven't spoken a word, 6 years, and haven't spoken a word of Chinese up until now. So you don't have to know a foreign language to do this. They're considered like language immersion classes. A lot of Arabic kids and professionals too. Are you talking about for Cambly? So for anyone watching this, Lori's actually another online teacher, and she's familiar with these two. And I believe that in her own personal, independent business, not like outside of a company, she focuses on Arabic students. So, yeah, Cambly. Yeah. So there are other companies. I do have, if you're watching this on my goat farming channel and you're probably like, why are you doing this? I just figured that it would be beneficial. But I do have another channel where I talk all about that. And I have a Facebook group where I talk all about different jobs that you can get. And like other people, there's like, I don't know, like 50,000 people in the group now, and people are always talking about the jobs and everything. I used to work with Cambly Kids before going independent. Oh, I've never done the kids side. So for Cambly's the one that I told you is like a free talk one. Cambly is it's low paid. I believe it's been so long. What is it? $12 an hour. Like Cambly does not pay a lot, but it's just something that you can do. Like if you're bored at home, even you could just like log on, click, and start teaching if you have a couple minutes here and there. I know it's really hard to find good work from home jobs, and for something that you can get started in and not have to pay for daycare, even I do know that like obviously you want to get paid what you're worth, right? And that's something that I'm always going to talk about, getting paid what you're worth. If you're just starting out and you don't have anything, you can work with one of these companies. Like, yeah, you're going to be getting paid like $18 an hour or something, but it's better than getting paid $22 an hour and then paying for your gas and paying for your child care if you have children. I think I just looked, and it was somebody just shared something, and I think it was like $1,700 a month is what childcare is going here for now for like an infant. Like, who can afford that? It's just, it's ridiculous. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll see here. So I can't remember what Cambly pays because I don't ever teach on Cambly. So log in. I'm just gonna go ahead and log in. I think I'm on the wrong browser. I think I'm on the wrong browser here. Gmail. I think it's like $12 an hour, but I can't remember. Oh, let's see here. It's been so long since I've been on Cambly. For Cambly, Cambly is a good one if you can get hired before Christmas. It's a good one because they pay every Monday as long as you have over $20 in your things in your account. The companies really don't pay enough for people to live on. I was making only $1,200 a month working on Cambly, working full-time hours. Cambly pays really little. Cambly is not something that, like, if you want to get started and you just want to get into something, go for it. Cambly does not pay you nearly enough to live off of. For working for one of these other companies that pays a little bit more, you'll be able to make more. Let me see here. Where did I go here? Cambly. So, oh, November 18th, it told me to update my tax records. I don't even know here, like tutor guide. It tells me here. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cambly pays like $12 an hour. Oh, wait, hold on. Going into history. Oh, the last time that I worked for Cambly and got a payment was December of 2023. And so yeah, so I think it's like, okay, so 30 minutes was $5.10. So it's $10.20 for an hour. Like, it's not a lot for Cambly. Yeah, I guess it is lower. So maybe the kids program is higher than that. But it doesn't really look like anybody's on here right now. If you end up watching this and you have other questions, but basically this is what you need to do. If you're looking to get into this, the first thing that you need to do is make sure you have your bachelor's degree for most of these companies. The second thing you want to do is you're going to want to go out and get your TESOL, however you say it, certification. It's $30. I put it in the chat, put it in the description box. It's $30 for that. After you have those, you can apply. You can use that TESOL certification and you can apply to any company out there. There's a whole bunch of them. They're always coming and going too. So don't ever rely on one company. But after that, you'll apply, get in, and learn how to do it. If it's just going to be like a side hustle and you're not going to focus on it and you don't want to make a business out of it and you just want to do it like the slides are there, you don't have to focus on growing a business, you just log in and make your $15 an hour or whatever it is that you're getting paid, then you can go ahead and do that if you're happy with that. If you're not happy with that, you can always take it further and make it into a business and learn how to enroll your own students. But I don't want to talk about that today. I want to talk about the basics, like starting with a company, how to get hired, how to do it. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask them. Taxes are not taken out, so you are responsible for your own taxes. I am not a tax professional, so I can't give you advice on that. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to message me on social media or like leave me a comment, shoot me an email, whatever it is. I'm happy to answer them for you. And the peak hours, if you're working for one of these Chinese companies like Lingo Ace, the peak hours are generally Chinese. So the peak hours are generally Beijing time hours. And you're going to be working from like, say, like Eastern Standard Time, you'd be working from like, well, okay, so Beijing time is going to be after school hours and weekend hours. So take Beijing time and transfer it to your time zone. So after school hours are like maybe like 4 p.m. Beijing time to 9 p.m. Beijing time. So in Eastern Standard Time, that goes like 3 to 4 a.m. to like 8 or 9 a.m. So you don't have to work all those hours. You can choose your hours. And then weekends, which is all day weekends, Beijing time. This company also has a lot of kids that are in America and France and Canada. So you can actually open up hours anywhere. But they need the most teachers on those Beijing time hours. And once you apply, you get hired. They will have you, some companies will have you do a background check. Once you get started teaching, you literally just go and you select the times that you are available to teach, and then they will put the hours, they'll put the students in there for you. Beijing time is basically 13 hours ahead of US. Yeah, it depends. It depends on if it's daylight savings time or not. So right now, China is 13 hours ahead. Once the time changes again and the time springs ahead, then it's even easier because AM is PM and PM is AM. So like if it's like 11 o'clock AM, I know it's 11 o'clock PM in Beijing time. My translating the time is a lot easier than a lot of other people in the world have it. I know that these companies don't pay a lot, but when you don't have to pay for daycare, it was a lifesaver for me. And I don't think that a lot of people know that there's something out there that exists like that. And I just looking at the daycare prices, I was in shock. People were sharing what they're paying in daycare prices last week in one of the mom groups. And I'm just like, how? Like right now, I've got 6 kids. Can you imagine? How much daycare I would pay if I had to pay for daycare like over the summer or something? Oh my God. Like I'd be paying like $6,000 a month. It's disgusting. So, and then there's always other things that you can do if you start building a business and doing this. That's a whole other story, but just getting started and just getting into it, you get your TESOL, apply to the companies and start working. And there's nothing saying like, oh, you have to work this many hours. Like you are required to work like 30 hours a week. You're not. There's nothing saying like you have to work these peak hours. It's nothing like that. It's really flexible. So if it could save your butt like it saved mine, then it's worth talking about. Does anybody have any questions? I know that this is like, some of you that are coming onto this are probably like, dude, I know all about this. I've heard all about this. I'm already teaching online. This is nothing new, but this is really meant for people that have never heard of it before, like that were where we were before we were here, just to get started. And I know that there's probably a lot of questions, but it's been a really long time since I've been in that spot. So feel free to ask me anything. There are no stupid questions. But the questions that I usually get are, how do you teach Chinese kids if you don't speak Chinese? You don't need to know Chinese. But I am learning it now. That's like my fun little thing. I started learning Chinese on Duolingo, and my Chinese students say that my Chinese is really good for a month. Are the big companies starting to make a comeback in China? Yes and no. So I have noticed the big companies that were big before. So you've obviously been here before, like you're not a new teacher. So you were here for double reduction. The big companies that were here before, they're not really making a comeback. That I've seen. I think VIP Kid is starting to come back. I hear people getting bookings and stuff now, but most of the big companies that were big before are gone. The new companies that we're seeing success with, they are all operating out of different countries. So Taiwan is a really big one. A lot of these companies will operate out of Taiwan because the laws are a little bit different. I'm not going to get into politics. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No Taiwan talk here. But that's what they usually do is they operate somewhere different. So they might operate out of Taiwan. They might operate out of America. They might operate out of Canada or, the UK. And then a lot of independent small tutoring companies are starting to pop up and see success. So I've had a lot of teachers come to me that are starting their own businesses where they're not just teaching their own students, but they are working with other teachers and hiring other teachers. And then there are a lot of Chinese, I guess we call them like micro agents, where they kind of find parents and teachers to go and, oh, okay, I know who this is. I'll just go into the miniature donkey market. You know what? So Jay wants me to get a donkey. I do baby goat parties in the summertime. I'm not doing it because it's too cold, or it's too cold right now where I live, but I do baby goat parties. And I literally, I have pictures where I can show you, I dressed my goat up as a taco. And one is a taco and one is a spider for Halloween. We go and we bring the baby goats to parties and do goat yoga. And he wants me to get miniature donkeys for, I don't know, miniature donkey parties, My Little Pony parties. Not a bad idea, but I haven't found a miniature donkey. I had donkeys. I had some donkeys that I rescued from the meat market a couple years ago, and they ended up just being really, really expensive pets. A rescue had asked me to take care of them for them because they were one was ready for the meat market, and then two of them needed emergency homes before a really bad snowstorm. But the donkeys are expensive. They're like horses. They eat a lot. You got to trim their feet. They're a lot of work. I guess maybe they got smaller feet. One of my students tried to teach me Chinese. So you guys want me to say something in Chinese? Practice my Chinese for everybody to hear it. So I say, 我叫小美老师. My name is teacher Xiao Mei. Xiao Mei is my Chinese name. That's the other thing. When you start doing this, your students will probably give you a Chinese name. You guys have Chinese names? And I feel like the people that are watching this right now, at least the ones that are commenting, are all actually current teachers. So it's kind of funny because I don't think I'm telling you guys anything that you don't know. But if anybody happens to watch this and you are not a current teacher, then feel free to ask me the questions that you need. Or Jay and Lori, if you guys know something that you think I should add into this for anybody that's starting to get into it, let me know. I think the majority of us start with a company, and it's really good to start with a company because you can kind of see what the companies do, what you like from it, what you don't like from it. You can get an idea of who and what you like to teach, rather than just jumping into your own business, which you can do that too. But I just feel it's a good idea to start somewhere where you don't have to learn everything at once. Because if you're trying to learn how to run a business and how to teach and how to like do all the technical stuff all at the same time, it's going to be really hard and you're not going to be like really good at anything because it's just going to be really overwhelming. But if you start with a company, you can just go in there, log on, watch the slides, like see the slides, learn how to do it and get better. Talk about pricing for people that are trying to start going private. I don't want to get into going private here. Because I think that that's like really, 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 overwhelming, and for people that are watching this and they are not trying to go private, but I can definitely do another video. I definitely will do another video talking about going private because that's really important too. But for those of you that are just like, so I posted on my Facebook page asking if anybody was like interested in doing this, and then I realized that I had a lot of people that were saying that they were, and I'm like, well, I don't actually want to be that person that's in people's inboxes like, hey, like I'm like, I'll just talk to you. Don't expect to make a lot of money from the start. You have to be patient and keep working at it consistently. Yeah, I noticed it's like a snowball. So my very first month teaching, and I actually have a video on my channel where I break down my like first year of pay with both VIP Kid and Palefish, which were two older companies. But you can see it's snowball. So like my first month, maybe I made like, I don't know, like $600 or something, because I wasn't teaching that much. But then as you start doing it and as you get students, it kind of snowballs, and then it'll get to the point where you can't take on any new students, and the salespeople love you because your students love you, and next thing you know, you are either having to say no to more students, or you're having to make bad decisions and work too much. I learned that the hard way, to have the salespeople calling me. Can you take the student? They really want you to open up classes at 4:00 in the morning. Yeah. I want to wake up at 4:00 in the morning to teach. I got other things to do. But it's definitely a snowball. It definitely starts off smaller and grows and grows and grows. And then as you start going into it here, you will see that, if you like it, then it's time for you to go independent. Like, like Jay was talking about going independent. That's a whole other topic. I could do a whole other video. If you are on my homesteading channel watching this, I will not talk about that on this channel. You have to go to my other channel, which is Teach Online with Jillian Shanahan. But because I'm not going to talk about teaching independently on that channel. But yeah, so there are your tips there. I'm going to wrap this up. If anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. And basically what you have to do if you want to get started, the first thing you're going to do is get all your paperwork together, find your degree. If you haven't used your degree in forever, dig it out of your old paperwork, find your degree, take the TESOL exam. It's $30 from International Open Academy. If you use my link, it's in the description box. $30, you get your TESOL certification. It is not something that you're going to want to use if you're going overseas, but it works for all of these online companies and it's cheap. So do it, right? We go with cheap. And then after that, you can apply to these different companies. This company that I gave you here, Lingo Ace, they are applying. You'll have like immediate bookings and you can definitely be over the tier 0 where you're not making the minimum there. And it's really good for people who just want to start. So with that being said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send me a message. I will give you, so if you want, you can reach me at Jillian at independentteacheracademy.com. And when you get a free moment, can we meet up? Need to pick your brain a minute. I think I know what you're going to need to talk to me about. Somebody told me the problems that you were having with your website. Is that what it is? Yes, we can. I've got classes after this though, so not today. If you're coming to coaching on Thursday, are you going to be able to? Oh no, you've got classes, don't you? Okay. Message me on Facebook and we can figure it out. I think I know what you're talking about though. It's that website thing, right? Okay. And anybody has any questions, feel free to drop me a message. I know I'm rambling a lot, but it's nobody in here is like, I think, not a teacher, or if you are, you're not asking questions. So I don't know what to tell you except for that I got classes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I dealt with the same problem when I had my own independent business running my website and everything. I dealt with the same thing. It's a pain in the butt and I know how to fix it. So it's good rambling like with Katie. Good. I'm glad you like my rambling. Okay. I will go for those of you that want the independent teaching thing. I've got an independent teaching thing that I'm going to be doing here on my teaching channel soon. So you can stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys all later. I got classes. Bye, guys. Oh, subscribe.